What's up, guys? Marble Tyler here, and I want to talk about that new Rage 2 trailer that just dropped, because I've never played the first one. I've always thought it was, kind of unique, whatever, something I'd maybe pick up later on down the line. I never really did. Maybe I'll go back and play it now that this new one's coming out. But looking at Rage 2, it's nothing like I thought the first one was, and maybe it is exactly like the first one. You guys let me know in the comments. But it's essentially colorful Mad Max. That's really it. I mean, it's colorful Mad Max. It's, you got the oranges and the pinks and the greens and whatever those colors were. It's a wasteland apocalypse setting with vehicles and stuff like that. I mean, what more could you want? It's essentially Mad Max. But from a gameplay design, I'm watching this gameplay trailer, and it looks like it's essentially Borderlands 3. Now, I'm going to break down this trailer and talk about all the similarities I've noticed between what looks like Rage 2 and the Borderlands series. Now, obviously, Borderlands 3 is very hyped for. We're expecting it at this E3. There's rumors and everything that it's going to be there. I personally love the Borderlands series, but I think Rage 2 might be stealing some of the hype right now. So here's why. Let's go through these similarities real quick. Right off the bat, it's a wasteland setting. Now, obviously, there's a lot of wasteland settings, so this is just, one little thing. But it is a wasteland setting. Borderlands, you're on this desolate planet in space or whatever, and it's a wasteland. People are scavengers and they're fighting, and there's psychos and all these messed up, squadrons of people and factions. And it looks like Rage 2 is following that same route, and I don't know if the original did. Like I said, I didn't get to play it. Again, this is very loose, but it is a first-person shooter with vehicles. Obviously, there's a lot of games like that, so, to say it's exactly like Borderlands because of this isn't really fair, but it is something to point out. It is essentially, very similar. You have some basic vehicle design, and that's what it looks like in this trailer. It's very basic, and then just first-person shooter mechanics. Up next, there's just kind of some crazy action, craziness. I mean, there's psychos, there's funny-looking characters, there's weird-looking characters, there's really unique monster designs. And honestly, it's very, very similar to Borderlands, where you have psychos, you have the monsters, you have the big bosses, everything else like that. And on top of that, the psychos. I mean, I don't want to say they look exactly alike, but there are some similarities. You have to admit, there's some things that look, quite similar. The next question is Rage 2 co-op? I mean, there's a scene right here where there's a squad, it looks like 4 different people fighting this giant monster. Obviously, that's something you do all the time in Borderlands. Is this game co-op? Is it going to be a cooperative experience where you're, fighting giant monsters and trying to kill them? And obviously, the big monsters. There's a couple of them in this trailer, and there's some bigger creatures that you're going to be fighting. Obviously, again, all these things are in a lot of games, but Borderlands and Rage 2, it seems to have both of them in a very similar fashion, just from what I could pick up in this trailer. Up next is just the emphasis on guns, on big guns, on crazy guns, and that kind of mature, effing humor. I mean, right here they even advertise big effing guns. Okay, what the heck does Borderlands advertise? Tons and tons of crazy, awesome weapons. And obviously throughout this Rage 2 trailer, they show off probably a dozen different weapons, different types of different styles of, all these different designs. So are we looking at 2 very, similar designs and approaches to, hey, you're using all kinds of crazy weapons on these big monsters and these psychos in this wasteland? It's a very significant, similarity. On top of that, are there character-specific abilities? You see some, super jumps and some ground pounds and some different, melee combat. Are there character specifics? Obviously, we know there's going to be some co-op. Are there different classes that you can pick? Similar to Borderlands? We don't really know. And this part's a little more speculation, but there are some abilities we did notice. And whether there's a leveling system or a class system, either one of those would be similar to Borderlands. Up next, again, open world. It's in a lot of games, so it's hard to say, they stole it from Borderlands. But with everything else I've listed, it is a big thing. And as well as, will you be looting? Because there's a couple things that make it look like you're looting places. You're finding these guns, you're searching through these areas. And honestly, if you are looting guns, and everything else I listed on this list are all similarities between Borderlands and Rage 2, I think I'm very confident in being able to say Rage 2 is really not really stealing, but, taking the hype from Borderlands 3. I mean, Rage 2 is clearly checking off all the things that people want from a Borderlands game. and basically saying, here it is. And there are some differences. I don't want to say everything's similar. The most significant thing, of course, is being the art style. Rage 2 is going for a little more realistic approach. Borderlands has always had that cell shaded, cool little design or whatever. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think these similarities are pretty significant and they clearly, not some red flags, but they clearly draw some attention to people? Or do you think, those two games are so different, it's not going to matter. It's, Borderlands is Borderlands, Rage is Rage. They'll be separate, they'll both be awesome. I personally think they'll both be awesome. I think Rage looks great, and I'm also really hoping for Borderlands. And, if I could, I'm going to pick them both up. But what do you guys think? I know Borderlands 3 is rumored for E3 2018, and I'm hoping it's there. And it's been a while since we've seen Gearbox, and that's been since Battleborn, and we all know how that went. So Borderlands 3 should be a hit. I'm really looking forward to it. Again, let me know in the comments what you think. Will we see both at E3? Let me know. Otherwise, I hope to see you guys in the game.